200 metres from Midnight Glow, then Night Sun, Highland Blaze, Dunwoody, 100 metres to go, 3/4, now a length Midnight Glow, and Dunwoody, a big staying performance, is going to hold on and win the ledger.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm up and about. It's Bull Week. How can you not? How bloody good is the bull? Johnny Walters with me.
I would rather, I don't know, you can just write your own ticket. You couldn't get me there for any money, anything. It'd have to be a family, like, hostage situation to get me to that joint.
Next year, I'm going to take you then.
Yeah, mate, you didn't even go on your horse won them one of the major races. What are you talking about?
Well, next year I'm going to go down.
Next year,
try and go back to back.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was too scarred from the year before. How are you boys in Melbourne?
Yeah, good. I wish we were down at the... Well, I've over me bull FOMO, Nico, so I've FOMO Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I'm pretty happy I'm sort of back here, and today I'm especially knowing how you feel on a Thursday morning down there after a big 3 or 4 nights on the drink. So I'm pretty happy to be here now, but would have been good to be down there for a couple of days, Nico.
Yeah, it would have been, watching those jump races is always good, but it's been tough to find a winner. Haven't really sort of hit the ledger there, so I've got a few to come today. Hopefully we can get something out of, but it's been tough going just with the way that track's been and the heavy conditions, obviously. I think it's more of a social event these days than a punting event.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Yeah, exactly. Catch up with all the people in the industry. That's what you miss, catching up with people and socialising and seeing people, especially, when you're post-COVID and things like that. But can't believe Scoot, your horse. I mean, how big? Britannicus. Massive. First up into the Briley, wasn't it?
It's huge. It's trying to keep a lid on it because I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of fitness improvement to come through that one. And I guess he's always sort of been a run behind all prep and big roll of the dice for Simon Wild, and just shows what a trainer he is. He absolutely trained to the second. I'll tell you what, another 100 metres would have been very, very dicey there, and even the last 200, I should have filmed it in here. I was an absolute mess and a wreck, and no surprise BZ hit out the back and didn't want to look like an imbecile, but it was just a gun ride. Like Aaron Carew just took the gap that sort of half wasn't there. A couple of boys in Sydney, they reckon that Carew should have got life, and they were obviously on Flying Agent. But ballsy ride from Flying Agent to set the tempo, and it's always tricky there. But it just went to script from the Wild Yard. They basically said how they were going to ride this horse, and the whole plan just come off to an absolute tee. And Aaron Carew's steer around that jump that cost us, that the double there. It was the difference, and it's just amazing. So I think he's going to go to Sandown, and he's got a couple of really good races ahead of him as long as the tracks stay dry, and that was the other real blessing. I suppose we were due a little bit of luck after, I guess, last year. It was probably our own fault last year, but another 30 minutes or 40 minutes later, the track's too wet for us and would have been a duffer in the wet, and Flying Agent would have absolutely bolted in. So yeah, it's good to have the luck, and I think the boys were all pretty wounded, and they celebrated as hard as they could. So fantastic, and what a story. I think we tried to buy a Derby horse initially, and Cam Cook couldn't find one because we got priced out of it over at Karaka, and he said, why don't you jump into this horse Britannicus? We think he's pretty handy over the sticks, and I think Gay Waterhouse tried to buy it, and we sort of got up under a skirt, and we jumped into a couple of, I think, Gerald Ryan's cousins, or they were sort of half keen, or got a whiff that this horse was half decent, and I think we just pinched it off Gay, so it was good to get one over Gay and Robbie, that's for sure.
He probably won more off it yesterday than you've won off it in his career. You never get one over Robbie, and as much as you say BZ was hiding out the back, not making an ass of himself during the coverage, he's made up for it since.
He has too. But that was the best part, DK, like just to share the love with all the boys. Like there's just so many of us in this horse, and I think we're going to rendezvous for a bit of a party when we do the stream next Saturday.
If you're in the horse, having said that, it looked like there's only one owner down there. I mean, Marshy was there, but BZ front and centre. And then that who was on the below? Someone on Twitter got him a ripper on the dance floor.
Desi.
Desi, yeah.
Desi.
He's a follower of the show. He's
rolling on the river or whatever. Oh, very funny.
Rolling on the river.
Yeah, I think that'll be turned into a meme, and he won't be able to live that one down. So
at least it's a happy memory. It's not a bad one to be cast by.
Great experience, and just goes to show you can get a horse for 20, 30 grand, and they can become a superstar. Well, he's our superstar, and maybe we'll have to take him to Nakayama, the Japan jumps. We might have to share the float and the bill with Stern Idol. I think he's probably a more valid customer, but who knows, DK?
You get hard tracks at least over there.
Grand Annual next year. and we might back him up after the bridle. But very exciting. Enough about Britannicus. But DK, another horse that might be suited or going to the jumps later in his career was just the casual 100-1 winner that you threw out in last week's show. Dunwoody, please. DK.
Aren't blinkers wonderful things, Nico? I mean, on hindsight, the blinkers on that horse, and then
blinkers and intent.
Jay Childs.
Yeah.
It was Jay Childs replacing L King, and up to his right trip with the blinkers on, he's just outstayed him. Like he got him rolling in front rather than having to chase from midfield, which he'd done prior. And there it was, the beauty, the wonderful blinkers.
Yeah,
Jay Childs
watching the race, like 800 hours, like this thing is just going to keep kicking. Like there was no doubt it was not going to stop.
And he rode it to keep kicking, didn't he?
So that was a bit sick for us who were on scoot. Highland Blaze, I think, he was just coming home down the outside.
Was sick because you got beat by a big odds chance.
Yeah.
Wasn't sick because you didn't have your chance. Huh?
And just hand it up. So
Carleen handed up.
Well, it did. Like, nothing wanted to lead early, and Carleen could have anchor dropped. She could have done lots of things. She
That's
led
what she did
the
last
older
start.
horses.
They ran straight past it. She's tried something different today out in trip. She did to take cover. She led the other day, and they went straight past it.
Older horses, different
They
scenario.
come home 20 below or something. Like you can't blue about not being able to run down a winner who comes home 20 below.
It's already been to the 3,000 metres, though, DK. It had that edge over the rest of its rivals, and then here it is at steaming home. I don't know, like they had.
No,
I just couldn't believe
Jackson
that.
Pallow had it. He didn't like you having a shot at him. Scoot. Yeah,
Well, you're not allowed to.
The trainer, he took offence. He said, "Hang on there, Turbo. Hang on."
There was a couple go after me, but I felt like Walt, actually.
Don't go after Nash. I've learnt that.
Can't go after Nash. And then Joe Pride. You've been ruffling him
What
up.
about that? I didn't even try
See that one coming.
So I gave him a rap, and then all of a sudden I'm facing some bloke that I'd muted, and then I don't know. Joe's always got me in his sights.
We love opinions and we need more of them. And the ban is good for the game as long as you keep it fair and I guess
Reasonable.
Yeah, pretty civil. And I don't know. I think you're allowed to talk tactics, and I think it's just frustrating when a horse has got the potential to lead and they sort of don't push forward. There's a horse early in the week, Swift Charm. They push forward, they win a race, and I think there was a bit of commentary about the Nash ride. If a horse settles back, it's fair game. Like if they get held up, those sort of things are going to happen. Like. But when a horse, I guess, doesn't go forward, it's sort of a different argument altogether. So I think Nash is entitled to call that bird out. I don't know who she was.
I don't think it's a bird either. It's a serial lunatic that attacks people and deactivated the account 1 second after. So yeah, I don't know.
Not a real thing.
It's an anonymous account regardless. So how would you know what or who it is? But yeah, I think the anonymous accounts too are more entitled to have shots fired back at them than the people that put their opinion and face on show.
Yeah, exactly. I think Richie Irvine summed it up. If you don't have your name to your account, you're just not worth a pinch of it. Nico, a bit of a pat on the back for you. Toronto Terror was a good one. You guys read that like a book. And then Walt, you on Wrathful. Gee whiz. Some ride, but the horse was just too good anyway.
Yeah, well, they come home pretty slow, but yeah, it would have been a tragedy beaten had he not got there. I did ask how he was feeling after he got back to, and I think the trainer met him with some stern words of thank goodness that made up the ground it did, because I think they were all, the whole team were they'd got a horse home at Muswellbrook the day before. I think they were counting on the result in a number of ways.
Outstanding stuff. So sent that one out as a moral. So if you couldn't back a winner off the show last week, your ears have been painted on. Something that was a bit sneaky on day one of the bull. I don't like this when I see big, I guess, corporate and governance type people roll out news on a Friday or day one of the bull's just an absolute perler. But Racing Victoria, there's a graphic up on the screen now. They're going to increase the POC tax 10 to 15% starting in 2024. I spoke to Tristan during the week. He was just like, oh, great, it's going to start in 2 weeks' time or at the end of the month or the end of fin year. It's good that they're not starting until next year, but Racing New South Wales, when they push up their changes in the past, they've said to the bookies, righto, it's starting in 2 weeks' time, or, we just want that now. So we talk about this a little bit. I guess we'll give DK and Walt a bit of the floor, but it's disgusting in my eyes. I can see the government are just sort of trying to take every penny they can, and I sort of mentioned this stallion tax, and I did have a look at the Wolfden interview of John Massara, and he was crying poor and said that breeders couldn't afford stallion tax. I found that remarkable. I had a look at Snitzel, one of his stallions' fees. I think in between the years of 2019 and 2020, I think Snitzel covered about 150 to 170 mares that year. And if they only paid half of their advertised stallion fee of a couple $100,000, they would have netted 16 million alone for the 2019 year. And then again in 2020, it would have been another like 15 or 17 million. And then if they had paid full price, you can double that figure again. So that's just 2 years, one stallion. This bloke's got 10 stallions on his roster, and he's telling me that you can't make any money out of breeding because they own half the horses and they race half the horses. Absolute spell from John Massara, and that content from the Wolfden. Great interview, fluffy interview with John Massara. But I tell you what, punters are just getting reamed left, right, and centre. And these guys that have got stallions like I'm Invincible, someone, I think that Sean Pariah tweeted out, they're just creating a secondary gambling market in the breeding game, and it's murky as hell. And some of these stallions are fetching 100,000 to up to 300,000 a serve. It's absolutely disgusting, and we just get beaten pillar to post. The little guys that are trying to have their $20 each way, it's just sickening. That's my rant. Walt or DK, who wants to go first?
Johnny Massara would spend more on Brill Cream each year than I spend feeding my family, I reckon. So I don't think how he could cry poor over anyone. Head of Racing Australia there for a while. So what did he do to help anything? Not a lot. He ran away. I don't know why. I'll get out of the way. I'm sick of talking about it because it feels like a close relative that's addicted to something that you're watching slowly die and waste away and get onto heavier things and no one's noticing or doing anything about it. It seems to me like the government's now the one driving the taxes forward, and to me, you're fighting a losing battle unless someone, in our industry who has a lot of pull gets involved because, they're not going to stop. You can see they've got these huge deficits to recover following COVID. Unfortunately, maybe because we were the shining light through COVID that kept on, everyone was sitting at home, had more disposable income. They weren't doing anything. They spent it on gambling. The government sort of had it up in lights as the next saviour for all their problems, and they're just going to tax us into oblivion. No one's standing up against them. For them to come out and champion it and say, we're getting a little bit more out of this as an industry, and not be honest about the other side of the coin and what it's going to do potentially is really sad. So I just can't see anyone standing up against them. I don't know what's going to come of it. I just feel like everyone says I wear a bit of a tin hat a lot, and I do get negative towards this a lot. But it's just something that I can see changing the whole industry. I can see trainers not surviving. I can see a lot of punters already walking away. It's not going to be the same product in 5 to 10 years' time for mine, and I'm worried about what it's going to become.
You're invested heavily with your own business in it, DK.
Yeah, I think one of the problems is the size and scale of sports betting and the like, Entain and these sort of groups. So they look at it and what they record last year pulled 316 million out of profit in their report out of Australian sport, out of their sports bet business, or Flutter have, and then they look at that and they say, they can afford another 5% on top of that. They can pull that, and Entain had 100 million. Well, they can absorb it. That's why they've got so big of a scale. But you look at listening to Tristan. Tristan was on with the Ramblers the other week saying it's untenable betting on Victorian racing at the moment with the fee structure. And now he's got another 5% on top with POC Tax. Like if it was untenable before, what now for those middle tiers? And then you've got all those little bookies who just try, as you said, they're pulling tricks with the problem gamblers and things like that. So,
but it's not the bookies that are copping it, DK. It's us, isn't it? Like they're passing it on to us as much as they can.
Well, exactly.
And,
how's it going to be sustainable if you want to punt on it going forward? Like it's tough enough. It's nearly hard enough now, and it's look, we could, like I said, we could get here and rant, but. I'm like, well, I'm nearly tapping out. What can you say? It's just nothing's. Taxes will never get wheeled back. Once they're in, they're in. They get addicted. Everyone gets addicted to the revenue. So then what happens? Someone's got to pay.
Exactly.
The only thing that's going to change it is some sort of huge disruption to the whole show, and I don't know where that would come from or what it's going to look like.
There's a new person that's
turnover's soft already. Well,
exactly.
Like I went to the Betfair launch there at the autumn. It sort of went over my head a bit because Amy, who's the CEO of Betfair, was asking me, how are you seeing liquidity and whatnot? And she goes, turnover's soft, and I went, if it's just a little post-COVID slump or something. And it sort of went over my head, but she did look a bit worried, that, maybe, and have a look now. Now what's going to happen?
How they're in business still,
this applies
I
to
have no idea.
Betfair. Look, it's going to be 10% to bet on Victoria on Betfair commission. No, nothing surer.
Guaranteed. Minimum 10%. Yeah. They've actually gone harder with most things, most taxes. So I think they'll try and keep it to 10, but it's going to be minimum 10, you would say.
It's amazing. Guys like Tim Costello's come out and said that the rate should be higher and the racing industry shouldn't get any, like, the revenue. Like, how brain dead is that
like
comment?
You go to hospitals. It's like all the money. Don't spend it on footy in Tassie. Spend in hospitals. As Eddie said last night, it all comes from different budgets. Okay, all different budgets. There's a housing budget. There's a homeless people. There's the social budgets and everything. It's all completely different. I mean, they've just got no idea. They don't even know why they went to him for a comment. Like, seriously, why would you go and ask Tim Costello about POC tax? Like, seriously.
Yeah,
ask him how many people are employed by the racing industry Australia-wide. Ask him some, about the industry that he's putting in jeopardy. He couldn't care less.
The Greens that want to shut down racing, they even say lift the POC tax race to 20% and then agree that the revenue should not go to the racing industry. Like, that's just typical of their policy. They've got no idea how business works, and then they want to kill the golden goose where they're ripping and reaping all the benefit from the tax that they're collecting on it. Like, lower the taxes and grow the game. Like, it's just infuriating, but I think we'll park it there. But a tiered system, DK's right.
Nico's a younger, it's like we're a bit older and we've seen the great times and Walt, and now we're sort of coming in a different era. I mean, what are your thoughts, Nico? What do you say? I
just sort of want to ask you boys what you think the impact on the punters will actually be. Like, it will be just higher market percentages? Like, we're going to be betting into 130% markets all the time, or sort of?
Well, they will. I mean, they've got. So what have they got? Till 2024, and they've got, like, Sportsbet got a big, like, very important quants pricing team, like the maths, those very clever maths guys who create programs and things like that. So they'll be straight into it, and how are we going to claw this back? And they'll only make it subtle there. It might be 130 to 131, or it doesn't have to be big change, but over a lot, big turnover over the course of 12 months. But there will be. The punters will pay for it. Sportsbet won't. They'll be trying to protect their margin for sure.
And they're already down, so their profits are down already. So there'll be just less incentive for customers across the boards. The promotional products will start to go away. Like,
we have no protection. They have protection. They can change the rules. They can do whatever they want. Exactly. Punters have no protection.
So Top Fluck, that used to be just an absolute given at Warrnambool and all these country carnivals. That's gone, so you can just get it at Metro only.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. No, best of the best, that's already gone. So then, you are Top instantly...
pretty much maybe the next thing to go, country provincial, very hard to get already. Even...
selected clients only.
Selected clients only. Exotics are finished. Betfair's finished, except for, Metropolitan Racing only.
In the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, other than that, it's finished, and that's before we get to 10% Victoria. Everyone's kind of just been trying to battle through it, hoping that sanity's going to prevail.
It's not looking good. And you watch, I think a lot of these punters, a lot of these bookmakers that have opened up, once the sugar hit goes from, I guess, the self-exclude customers, they're all just, I think they'll be half in the next couple of years, and they'll all just sort of slowly go out of business.
Well, no, they'll go when the tax changes, when their threshold changes, moves, whatever it is, that's when they'll
once they hit over $1 million. So they just can't grow. So it's a mute point, really.
If you're trying to make a living out of it, Scoot, like at our age, right, you've got to be trying to win, at least $100,000 a year, right? So to win $100,000 a year at 10%, you've got to turn over $1 million. How the hell are you going to turn over $1 million when there's no prices?
No, DK. The game's never been better, mate. You can have you've got 50 bookmakers that you can back to win NBLs. It doesn't matter that one of them is $2.30 and the other one's $3 on the same horse, or if I get one more imbecile on Twitter say the game's never been stronger, mate, that many times I've gone to put my head through the computer, it just drives me insane.
That's crazy.
I've got no idea what they're talking about.
At the moment, and it's the Tabcorp as well. So I've got a marked account at Tabcorp, no big trumpet there, but I put $200 in, tried to back a horse to win $2,000 on the Warrnambool thing. Every bookie was up. Bang, to win $1,000. Then just to annoy me, 30 seconds later, you can have to win another 500 and then another 1,000 later. So they've just annoyed the absolute shit out of me, and it could have been easier for me to get in the car and drive down to the local TAB and put the money on. It's just, and I'm betting into a 130% market, and the price is just there across the board everywhere. It's the whole game is just absolutely on a nice edge, and their only solution will be, let's put Saturday night, Sunday night, more product up, and then it'll be probably to the detriment and safety of everyone in the industry. Jockeys, trainers, they'll just have to work harder. And then at the moment, Nico, you can see how I think we've had over 250 bets in our Little Birdie syndicate. I think we're about 15 units in front. It's like there's 3 blokes looking at races in 4 different states. We're winning, but how much work is going into that just to try and... Oh, it's just crazy.
I'm lucky to find half a dozen bets a week.
But I mean, I remember Brendan Abdullah's old man, Pete, was a bookie, and he gave me some advice when I asked him what about punting, because he went from bookie to punting. And he said, if you can't win $2,000 a week, do something else, because of the work you got to put in. You got to be, you got to be all in. You got to be balls in. You got to do the long hours. You got to be there up early in the morning.
And what about the week you knock off 5
go
DK? Then you got to win. Like it's not guaranteed too. Like is it? It's never smooth sailing. I understand.
No, that's right.
It's
never smooth sailing.
No.
Yeah. But the work, as Scoot was saying, the work you got to put in. It feels like $100,000 a year, but you got to do 10-hour days. And you've got to work 6 days a week and stuff.
You've actually got to work more now, because back, before you could find bets earlier, things you could get set, you didn't really have to be across it. Now you've got to be 130. Okay, well, I like this thing. It's $3.
They don't
could
kick
get
back
5,
out,
or it could be evens come race time. So I've got to hang around. It's you've got to be a lot more attentive and switched on just to try and get on. 20% of what you used to be able to get on. So it's evolving, and it's not a cry for that. And I'm not even it's just not punters that I think are going to be cast from all this. It's not. It's the industry.
Industry.
So, and the most incredible thing is the most powerful people in our industry are probably the breeders. And when push comes to shove, and the drum, all does come to a head, it's probably them that's going to go into bat for us. So it's it's your Massaras and that'll actually get policies changed, because they'll be so scared that their stallion fees are going to come down off the back of prize money drops, and
we've got to hit rock bottom.
Things. Yeah, and funnily, they're the ones who will probably have far more influence than we could ever have, and whether they're punters or not.
Anyway, we're going to have a stream next Saturday, so it might be a good filler there. We could talk about this for absolutely hours, so we might get the take from the Wolfden, see what they think and how they're reacting and what they're doing with this news of POC Tax, and then we'll talk about it more on the stream. And anyone that's got questions, jump into the YouTube channel next Saturday. So it's SA Derby and Doom and 10,000 Day, so it's going to be an absolute beauty. Me, DK, Walt, Nico, Donnie and Azza will all be putting our best bets in, and we're going to combine powers with Wolfden. So you got Kings, Richie, Dano, Dream Team Matt and the Fizzer. So it's going to be an absolute beauty. It'll start around the first race at Sydney. They always go off early. They can't help themselves, 11:30 or 11:20, and so we'll punch through right until the last race at probably Doomben or Morphettville. That's usually how the calendar rolls. Quick one, the Comics Lounge, Melbourne Homes of Comedy in Errol Street in North Melbourne. Make sure you check them out. Big sponsor of the show. That's what we need, sponsors of the show. That's going to be a ripper today. Is Don is good. Poor old Galloper got beat by Serpentine, one of Gay's things, so it's a bit of an enigmatic galloper, but great steer from Yormi and Tim Clark. Mashani Sniper was a bit stiff, just got nosed out by Richon, another horse that Donnie loves, but Kovalika, how good was he in the Guineas? Gosford Cup Day, you tried to get off the show this week, Walt. But I did notice as soon as you said, I can't do the show, I did see it was Gosford, and I thought, you've run scared.
Show, it makes it more difficult for someone when they've got 17 meetings to cover and other things to do during the day. I'm not a night meeting man, but we battle on.
Yeah,
Gossip,
it's awful.
Gossip. Anyway.
There's so much product on the shelf at the moment. Nico, Sandown, it looks okay. It looks a little bit easier, but still pretty tricky compared to, say, something like the Bull. But you're going to have a look at the last 2 legs of the quaddie. Az is back after his little bit of a stoush with Loco and Cezero. Both ran very well, but got blouse. I think he's going to have a look at the Sangster and Tobin bronze this week. TopSport Steam is mixed bag. There's a few hard in the market here. So it's a little bit interesting. One looks a pretty good lay for mine. Make sure you get an account with TopSport. I think that's what they need. They just need a tiered taxation system, and someone like TopSport and Betfair, it'd be just great if you could rewind the clock and get them betting the margins that they used to, 2 or 3 years ago. But at the moment, they're just strangled. But better still, support the little guy and make sure you head to TopSport, because once they put their prices up, they bet minimum bet limits from the get-go. So not many bookies do that, but once their prices go up, you can get on for a bigger bet. So make sure you support TopSport. Nico, let's have a quick look at Sandown. Race 8 is the first one we're going to have a look at here. And as usual, I'm not ready. I haven't got the prices up, but Pinstripe's the favourite here at 3.10 from Gunstock. And then you got horses like Alverdon, which has a fair bit of form coming through him. The horse that you like here is a $15 chance, Maroney. Let's have a look at it last start in a Group 2 over in New Zealand. It's sort of back and wide in the green.
Yeah, just sort of blending into the race with the red cap. This is a a tricky little race. I think by this time of the day, we could be on a very wet track. So this is probably why I've gone looking for him. He bumps into Brando on this occasion, who's no sort of slouch over in New Zealand. He's probably about this sort of level. He's dropping back in grade realistically. You look sort of through this horse's career. He's been a horse who's come out to Australia before. He ran a really good race at Rosehill one day behind Mount Popper and Polly Gray on a wet track. Ran some really good figures there, and he sort of mixed his form in New Zealand. He's raced, in some of their bigger races. He started $26 in Livermore Classic, which is like sort of like their Cox Plate, really. I just thought coming over here, Forsman, obviously bringing over a horse who's been looking for some wet ground. He's going to find that on Saturday with some horses, inside the market. Pinstripe goes Allen to Heffel, always seems to lay in these races. I think that's probably a negative, getting the apprentice jockey on. Gunstock's going to be first up on a real wet track. And then it's kind of like, where do you look outside of them? Alverdun and Flash Feeling, El Rocco, they're all coming through the benchmark races. So I thought, just for a horse who's shown a bit of talent, ran some good figures here in Australia before, gets coffee, going to handle the wet track, I thought you could definitely have a bit of a look at him at $14. Not necessarily saying he's a moral or anything, but I think he could probably outperform his SP on a really tricky card. Didn't really think there was much in Saturday, to be honest. I thought he was probably one horse you could probably say he's going to handle the conditions no matter what they're going to be on Saturday, and from a pretty deadly camp. So I thought $14 was probably a little bit of overs.
I had time to have a look at that one, DK.
The last time he rose over, he was for the championships last year, wasn't it?
Yep.
And he started 340 in a JRA plate or something, did he? Or something like that?
Yeah, he's got a few SPs and sort of figures here in Australia, that would suggest he's probably a bit better than sort of benchmark 100 on a Saturday. Yeah, he started hard in the market at Rosehill, I think, or Randwick one day when Damien Lane rode him. So
yeah.
He's obviously got some degree of talent. There's a few nice horses here, like Pinstripe, who's, we know what he is. But I think if we get the rain, if we get sort of 10, I think it's 10 or 15 predicted today or tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
And then 10 on race day, it'll be very wet. So they'll bring him right into play.
Hot little race, but like your angle, hunting value. Walt, anything?
Nothing.
Beautiful. Race 9, Sandown. Aradante is favourite here, $4.80 in from 6. Danu Star, $5. Stormbolt, $5.50. Passero, $6.50 in from 10. Here's our Bonneville, 10 into $7.50. Blood Oath, $12. Gunner, $12. Fortunate Kiss, $15. And then Better. The rest, the replay we're going to have a look at here is Aradante, Jerome Hunter colours here, doing the chasing.
Yeah, this was a bit of just a one-horse affair. Really, Outback action went to the front, just kept kicking. Aradante, I thought he was pretty brave in defeat. He's usually a horse who gets back in his races, but showed some recent speed in his trials, and they rode him up on top of the speed here. His legs are just kind of spinning here, but I thought he showed good fight to hold off Miss Middle Park, to hold on for second here. He'll only improve out of that run, and that run was at Mornington, I think, was on a good 4 track. You look at his record on soft or heavy ground, he's unbeaten. So I think the more rain that comes, the better for him. Just steps up to 1,300 metres. Stackhouse has got a really good record on the horse from barrier 19. By this time of the day, he'll probably come in a few, given there's a few emergencies and a few of these horses will come out. He will be your favourite because Danu Star's running today at Warrnambool. From that draw, he might be able to just find the best ground late in the day, and does look a horse who may potentially improve this campaign, and the wet track will really suit him. So I thought on a really tricky day, he's probably one horse you could say will probably riding up to near his best on Saturday. You'd probably rather 14 or 1,500 for him than 13, but it'll probably be a slog. So second up looks not a bad little setup for him. Aradante could definitely make a case for Passero, and here's our Bonneville. Just if they bring their best, Passero gets M. Zara aboard, which is he's comfortably the best jockey at the meeting.
First day back from holidays, must be, from Zara.
Yeah, so there's not many, most of them are in South Australia or sort of, elsewhere up in Queensland, and he's probably the one real gun rider that stayed for the meeting. So I think he's a rider you definitely don't want to get under your guard there on Saturday. And Passero was pretty unlucky first up. You could probably have something on him too if you wanted to have a saver, but Aradante looks the one there in race number 9. Really tough day at Sandown. Thought nearly couldn't find 2 bets on the card. Thought that New Zealand horse just kind of jumped off the page at me late just because it'll be wet, but early looks extremely tricky.
What he has improved on that Aradante is his barrier getting out of the gates. Like he was a bit grubby out, wasn't he, first prep? And then his jump outs this time, NZI is beginning well, and then he began really well the other day. So that's definitely one area he has improved on, which is going to help him win a lot more races than when he was out the back a bit first prep.
Yeah, I think he's just showing signs that he's getting better. So that's always a good thing, isn't it, DK, on the improvement, and a horse who really likes the wet ground.
And you were tipping the thing. You you were tipping the thing out of the yard, wasn't it? Outback Action.
Yeah, we backed him out back
Big action. The thing is that he chased home hard. And there was a good apples to apples there. You're like, it was a good go, wasn't it? Outback Action, 1 obviously from the yard, but 2.
26 into 5, I think.
Yeah. So that was it. That was the old. So you go have a look after that and say why, and it was the old apples to apples. I remember when he won his maiden there, and he went like a Learjet.
Bolted in.
1,200 metres, Mornington, straight to the front, won by 6 lengths. So I mean the models, they just even might be way back. They just first thing they refer to, go to the track and distance, apples to apples. There it is.
P. Moody did say that he had to pay the school fees as well, so I don't think anyone missed in the Moody yard for jumping on board that one, DK.
School fees.
Yeah. You know about them?
The grandkids, his daughters are bloody in their mid-20s now. Aren't they playing AFLW or something? The daughters.
It sounds like you had a result there. So, yep. We just bumped into one that was probably really
I wonder where he's still, because he used to turn up. I remember Niagara. His good horse Niagara?
Mm-hmm.
I remember in the days when I was working at the track and had first started sale. And he'd turn up in the betting room with cash. He'd go to the mounting yard, saddle the jockey up, and then come back with the cash and just ask for 1,000 with every bookie. You know, it was a group horse having its first start. Ended up being a group horse having its first start in May, and it pissed him. But that's what he used to, but he wouldn't be able to do that now, would he?
No.
So I wonder how he gets his coin on now. Because he does like a bet when he's got an edge.
He'd find a way. Race 4, Nico, bless her, ready to win. Back to 1,000 metres.
Yeah, probably. She'll like the wet ground. There looks a few ticks for her. Unflinching, the favourite, is going to be a real sort of worry in the track conditions. If it does get very wet, he has no exposure to wet tracks. So you'd think he might be easy enough to take on. And yeah, she looks one that could improve back onto that sort of surface. But not a whole lot of confidence early in the day, to be honest.
I thought her run behind Sacred Palace and El Salto and then Jigsaw was probably good enough to be in the finish there, especially if it's testing. Anyway, let's push forward. Nico, final word from the yard. Make sure you support his Telegram service. 3 to 5 minutes before the race, you get his late mail. $25 a week, so you get Wednesdays and Saturday metros with the public holiday bonuses in there also. Nico's a big punting form disciple, so puntingform.com.au. They're the database that we use for our pre- and post-race. It enables me to bet any track in Australia, Singapore or Hong Kong. Great blokes at Punting Form. Make sure you drop them a line if it's all looking like Chinese to you, and they'll step you through some pointers on how to get started. So make sure you get a sub and take your game to the next level. We got AZZO back, which is great because we loved his debut, or not a debut, but it was just a welcome back episode. And
he's reborn.
Rebirth. Rebirthing. But it was great. He going head to head with the boys who actually finished first past the post.
No one. You gotta
Loco
win.
and Cesaro. They both.
You gotta win.
You got to win.
Got to win.
All bets off.
All bets off.
Okay. Not first past the post.
They both ran exactly how we all predicted them. Like AZZO was really keen on Cesaro, and Froggy rode it sensational as the fit horse, and Loco couldn't have done much more. And Nico, I heard you did mention the winner.
Yeah, Nico threw it out.
Red Sun Sensation, I hope, because it had the Gringotts, got the grouse Gringotts form.
He was out of the same race.
Yeah, he's gone for a break. Gringotts. I asked Ozzy on the weekend. I said, "Where's that Gringotts?" He said, "Send them all for a break." So back for the spring.
DK, you think Froggy rode Cesaro well?
Yeah. He had to ride because he had a horse fourth start in a race, the favourite, first start at 2,000. So we've got to make it feel the trip. So Froggy got going. He's took back 7th up back from 2,400.
Mate,
what?
Have you seen the new merch that I've got on for this week?
See you next Tuesday, Frog.
That's what I think of that ride. That's what I think of that ride, mate. It was one of the all-time slaughters you've ever seen. Loco was over racing, 200 metres into the race with blinkers on. It was cast.
He can't see that. It was behind him.
800 metres out, he accelerates, sits OSL, puts the brakes on, and then comes around the turn like his wing's looking for Hartnell behind him. What's he doing looking around?
Yeah, I know.
Thought he had wings under him. What a joker. Mate, Froggy knew it, please.
I know. Craig Williams said, geez, Froggy, he rode it good, but gave you something to chase.
Yeah, Craig Williams said he rode it good. That's right. Absolute slaughter. Anyway, none of those horses will be winning the Derby.
He has a merch. He has a merch, Scoot.
He has a merch. There we go. So there's the Froggy. That's what he can do. Moya last and Cesaro. Absolute slaughters.
Can you send me one that says with just Carleen instead?
That'll be on the,
I just can't
that'll be
catch
on
her.
the Little Birdie website next week, that T-shirt, if anyone wants one for Froggy Slaughters.
We'll do a couple of lines too. Then I might need a John Allen one after Cardi and Queen during the week
no
as
one ever
well.
ride more winners. Maybe C. Gaudry. C. Gaudry's ridden the most winners for the month of April. Jay Allen and C. Heffler right behind, and Scoot wants to can't catch either of them.
Well, when D. Perez is out riding you at Warrnambool
Perez,
DK, I would have thought.
D. Perez is like
he's just gone straight back to the fence. It's
James McDonald, D. Perez, Hugh Bowman, maybe top 3 in Australia. So settle down.
He's our man today,
gee.
D. Perez. We need him to get a result.
Yeah. Have you never watched a race in Tasmania?
Yep. So I only see him a chance, but we're on the
First
the
accused or
executive.
something, is it? Oh, exec, what?
Yep.
Oh, right, okay.
Bit of a roughie.
Opinions, we love them. This is as a segment. Everyone's sort of just
This
taken
mine,
over.
this mine, but you know, I'm sure Nico and DK will come over the top of me again this week. And
Yeah, all right. Yeah, what do you got?
yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, let's do this Sangster.
See, just as a side note, just to make the show a 4-hour episode, C. Williams rode pretty well last week at Adelaide, I thought.
Yeah, I
Couple
didn't
of
watch a race in
gems.
Adelaide, so I couldn't help you.
No, you just don't. You're a loser. Anyway, Morphettville race 7. Bella Nipotina's a favourite, $4. B. Mellon, Mar Eustace, 480 to 4. Passive Aggressive, 460. Zapateo, $6. Marabi, 10. In the Wilderness, a bit that horse. September Run, $10. Espiona, 11. Ruthless Dame, 14. Chain of Lightning, Big Time Wilderness, this horse, $19. Rockin' Horse, $26. Literary Magnate, $26. I'm Loving You, 26. Impressive last start winner. Sarah Dess, $31. And another award, 41. Diamonds, 101. Wow. Outside the first two on the market, this is a great little edition of the Sangster. Replay we're going to have a look at, just because we like replays, is Bella Nipotina coming home in the Quokka.
That out the back here and the white cap just inside of Amelia's Jewel, wearing her slot holders colours here, just angling out to get a run. Rifles home down the middle of the straight with Amelia's Jewel. I wonder what price Amelia's Jewel would be in this race. Thought this was a really good run, but it's typical Bella Nipotina. Obviously, she's regularly in the finish and her strike rates, sort of 6 from 37, but extraordinary. She's still a 5-year-old mare, but right in this, probably a deserved fame. I think this race it's obviously very even. The two main keys are the weather forecast. So they're predicting 10 mils Friday and some showers on Saturday. So that's the first thing. And I've basically done this on a soft 7. The second thing is, the second key to this race is Marabi. If Marabi, and with Mar Eustace having 3 runners in this race, if Marabi takes on passive aggressive and they go like the clappers in front, I think it's going to set it on for a run on horse. If passive aggressive gets a relatively easy lead and can angle off the fence into the straight, she's going to be the one to beat. I'm going with the view that it'll be a soft 7, which will suit Bella Nipotina, and the speed will be really quick with Marabi and even Sarah Des pushing up outside passive aggressive, and it being a very fast run race as opposed to last year when snap downs are dictated. On that, with Bella Nipotina, I sort of had it marked about $5, $5.50. I was a bit surprised to see it at $4, but I still think it's a bet. When you go through her form, firstly on anything 6, 7 or 8, it's just absolutely outstanding in Group 1 races. And secondly, went against mares, she's pretty much unbeaten except for the Sangster last year, where I thought she was really credible off a slow speed. Mellon's just got to get her out the gates here and make sure she's not last. And I think on a wet track, she's top pick. The other one that I want to be on in this race at $16, $17 is Ruthless Dane. That's second in the surround behind Sunshine in Paris. Is a very high rated race there. Crossing the line together with Zugotchi in Secret, Sunshine in Paris and her. And others, I wouldn't even say another stride. It's another 1 centimetre. She wins this. She's a Group 1 winner here. She then went to the Coolmore, where the Princess Jenny race, let's just call that, or the Reggie Bayless race. I thought she was still good there. She kept coming, 1,500, really fast speed, probably not her go. Freshen up for Kieran here, nice little jump out in between. I thought if the speed was on and she runs up to that surround rating, she's right in this at a price. And I'll chop out passive aggressive because I love her. And I don't want to lose on her if she does win. Open race, you could put Zapateo, SPO, and I'm Loving You in the quaddie. but I'll be backing Bella Nipotina and Ruthless Dame.
This is an absolute beauty. Nico, do you want to go first? Have you had time to look at this race? Everyone's been a bit under the pump this week with the bull, but
I had a brief look at it. I thought if the track is playing sort of down the middle and they go real quick early, I thought Espiona had to be a chance. Getting back from 1,500 metres, got a big turn of foot. Recent trial was pretty hot, where she just sort of sat in behind the speed and hit the line strongly. So I thought she might be one for sort of your exotics if you're looking to play that way. But no, there's a few of them there. Marabi, passive aggressive, Bella Nipotina. If they bring their best, they're probably proper Group 1 horses. It's just sort of where a few of them are at off their recent runs. So yeah, I thought Espiona's the real mare in form, hitting somewhere near her best, and her best is very good. So she's probably the one for me.
If it's a soft 7, she can't win. Well,
no, I agree with Nico. It's the only horse I could possibly back, but it needs run on. Drawn perfect to
needs
sort of
dry,
get in
though,
that
doesn't
3
it?
wide run. Huh?
Needs dry.
Is it dry? I don't know.
No, well, as I said, it was a soft 7.
It's 3 days out, mate.
We just said it's going to be 10 mil of rain.
He doesn't know. Look at him. Look at him.
Don't
If
you
I've ever
start-
seen...
You're the
look at
last
him.
bloke who should be saying, look at him. Let me
Look at
it.
him. He's got a hat on. Looks like he's about to dead set take out bloody Quickie Mart after this.
DK, Group 1 DK, you're the man that nails all the Group 1s lately.
I'll fillies and mares, 37 start, 5-year-old mares, and I think I'll
Pass?
the 3-year-olds and whatnot were more my go. Giga Kick and Loco and these sort of horses. So no, I can't help on this. I'm sorry.
The horse that I think's the roughie that you guys haven't mentioned. Oh, there's 2 roughies I think that are worth a closer look, especially if it's going to be a wet track. As Sarades is one, but I'm probably a little bit more horned up for.
Get the quaddy numbers now.
Yeah, exactly.
Quaddy numbers.
It's a quaddy league. Literary Magnate is a horse that absolutely is a bomb fresh horse, loves the wet deck, and this horse has got a massive turn of foot, and if it is a testing 1,200 and they go too quick, this thing will absolutely launch late, I'm telling you. Literary Magnate is probably one that you don't want to leave out of your quaddy at $26. It'll run second, and I'll be cactus again.
Not knocking it.
All right, I think we can push forward. Everyone said their piece.
Yep.
Let's have a look at.
So yeah, is that?
No, he's got one more race.
He's got one more race.
DK.
Hey, at least everyone's laughing now. I was listening to it for 10 minutes. Everyone thought the world was going to end. Fair dinkum talking about
I nearly
punting
cried.
taxes. Just keep punting, boys.
I nearly cried, and everyone thinks it was because of the taxes, because I could see your head on the screen at the same time.
We're only dirty because
game's fine. Is it as it game's fine? Just keep betting because it doesn't matter.
Just keep punting. Just back
There you
more
go.
winners, DK.
Oh yeah, back my winners, right? Yeah.
He's one
you just
of
got to
those
pick
Twitter
the eyes
blokes.
out.
Oh, he killed,
That's a
they killed
problem.
me.
We want to bet more, and we're just having to bet less often. So that's why we're
I
angry.
turn
As
over low margin. There's big. No future in that.
Anyway, Morphettville race 8, Tobin Bronze, sponsored by TopSport there. By the look of it, they're doing well. It's She Dancer's favourite, $3.20. Wee Nessie, $5.50. Royal Merchant, $6.50. Shuffle Dancer, $8. 7 Vales, 11 into $9.50. Renault So is $10. Little Miss QB, $17. And you can get better the rest. First one we're going to have a look at here is She Dances at Sandown, making all out in front.
Yeah, look, this was a restricted Vobis race, but God, she was impressive. 1 by 6, only beat horses like Private Jumbo and Tanto. But the time on the day was outstanding. Ran half a second quicker than the Open Gold Sprint won by DeJumbuck. Second, and that was Outlaw's Revenge, who won the Wongoon yesterday. A lot faster than the 2-year-old. She's all shenanigans, but you'd expect that. Love the way she ran through the line there. Had Back Me Next Start in the group race written all over it. I think the key to this horse is control. Whenever she's had control, she's pretty much dominated her races. And to me, on the map here, she really does seem to get control with Linda on board. So for me, clear top pick, $4 around. I think that's a great deal. I see her starting about $2.80. Yeah, the other one I want to back in the race at around $12 is 7 Vales. In the line here, about 8 wide outside that McAvoy horse in the white cap. This was first up, Mark Noonan horse, first up for Kieran. Running a slipper, won a Riesling on a heavy 10, so wet's going to be okay. Again, was wide draw, snagged back, came really wide on the turn and just kept coming here behind I'm Loving It, just kept coming through the line. I really like this run. Think she's going to improve out of sight from that. Doesn't need to be as far back, and I think at $12, she's another great each wet, so the usual play for me on the 2-bet strategy in these races. I'll be backing 7 Vales each way at the 12s, and I'm on She Dances at $3.80. Against all the colts, I thought the only possible other winning chance is Wee Nessie. Drawn 1, gets back, 5th start in a Pret, but did win 5th start against Pret. Last Pret, so it's probably not a huge negative. Could see why someone would make a case for it, just getting beat by Alf Cabin last start in the Arrow Field. But really like this race. She's Dances from 7 Vales.
I love your 2-bet strategy there, Azza, but if it gets to the soft 7 range instead of the dead ground, I think that might take the edge off 7 Vales. I think she wants dead or a good rated surface. Nico?
Yeah, she was a good run first up. I don't know. I was a bit great up in that race. I kind of went around in circles a bit. I don't know if that She Dances... She ran a huge figure. She didn't beat much. I just don't know if that's a real reflection of her form. Like the run prior was probably pretty good behind. She got beat by Renosu the run prior. It was $10 and she's 3. So I feel like that could be a little bit of an outlier. She's very consistent, but I would be surprised if she won the Euclase by 5. But and she's about the same price as what she was the other day. So yeah, 7 Vales looks a bit of the setup horse. If you can get down the middle and hit the line strong, that's probably her go.
Walty?
I think 7 Vales the best horse in the race. Whether that's her race or not, I'm probably like that race driving was good. I just not across them well enough. But I would be very happy to take $12 in 7 Vales in just about any race that's been run in Morphettville's history. So I think she's a pretty good horse.
Wee Nessie's got the Afgabin, Lady Laguna form, Dashing Legend on the heavy track at Arrowfield.
They've got a bit of hangovers, haven't they? Like they're all half beaten up. I think Az's found the right roughie.
Beautiful. 7 Vales. So we're sort of half cheering, not absolutely bucketing down rain, I think, for a couple of those tips that we've mentioned. See what happens.
We control what we can control, Nick.
Can't control the weather, can't control POC tax, so what do we talk about that?
Can't control Azza. There are 3 things you can't control.
I thought he's been brewing it again.
We can't control me, and I will tell you, we have got 4-hour stream next week, an absolute moral in the SA Derby.
Oh, I love that.
Going out, week out, seen all the.
He's going to join the Loco bandwagon. I can just see.
Hey, you can back Loco with me as much as you want, DK.
Just get the John Allen merch line ready if he slaughters 7 Vales. Thanks, Azza.
Pleasure, boys. Thanks for having me. Good on you.
See you guys.
We'll see you a couple of times next week. Can't wait.
Look forward to it. See you guys.
Just keep punting. We're trying our heart out. Gosford, Walt, have you checked the weather forecast?
Yeah, no rain.
Is
no
it?
rain. True rail. They probably still will get off the fence, but the drier it is, the more likely the fence will be okay. But I think it's a soft 5 at the moment. You'd expect it's not like super drying weather, is it? But there's no rain predicted, so hopefully that is true, because it's. I think last week there was nothing predicted at this stage, and we ended up nearly getting the races called off. So hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Let's have a look at the Takeover Target Stakes. Race 7, think about it. Looks like a sticky draw at Gosford 13, $3.40 favourite, Clemenceau $4.40, Shades of Rose $6, and Fashion Legend $7.50. Bacchanalia is $9.50, Foxfighter $13, Blondo $17, and Zethus is $18. That rounds out the chances, and we'll have a look at the replay now of Clemenceau last start. Well,
sorry, I'm just going to get the field up. So Clemenceau just was wide and working for most of the race here, which is I don't think suits this horse absolutely ideally. And what I liked was that he sort of stuck his head out and kept coming, which is to me a great sign that a horse is in form when he's not getting things as he likes and can still continue to find the line, which is exactly what happened here. The only little query is this was 6 weeks ago, 42 days, and was scratched once, but did hear. And they're not the most reliable humans on earth. The Hawks camp on the radio this morning saying that, no setback, just save for this race, which to me doesn't make sense. But he said, fit flying, no issues. And it's you take that on face value, which is all you can do. I think he's well set up for this race.
Outstanding. And then Fashion Legend last time. Oh, this is his trial, actually.
Yeah, so 1,200-metre trial. To me, these are pretty poxed as a rule. 1,200-metre trials are very average sort of form lines, if that's what you want to take them as. But to me, at least the horse has been given this run to have it fit for a race like this first up, which I think is important. Coming off a shortish break, sort of ran in the Gold Coast not that
Guineas.
long ago, 2 trials since, and sort of there wasn't busted up. So Gate 1 for him makes him very dangerous in this race, I think, just because he gets that soft run, which is probably what he needs to tackle this class and distance first up. But the reason why I like him is more about the main other chances in the race are really poorly set up. I think, like, thinking about it, obviously a very talented horse, back to sort of 1200, which is probably where he's most vulnerable. 12 gate around Gosford, not a rider he has gone forward on this horse in the past, but I don't think he's capable of doing that here. If he somehow follows Shades of Rose across and the face and slots in the 1-1, you may be holding onto your backside, but he should be sort of 4 or 5 pairs back and coming wide at Gosford, which is definitely not easy to do, especially when this is probably not a target race for this horse. You'd expect it to go to Brisbane and be more worried about being intact for much bigger assignments. And you got Shades of Rose, who, first and second up was just fair, probably had excuses, then went to the Quokka, and so it's travelled to the Quokka, sat third the fence there again, went okay for a race of this nature, but now has to travel back 10 gate. Looks like it's going to work. Either come across with the face and sort of take a sit, or it doesn't really matter. It's going to be working. And to me, it's not a real, like, I love Aaron Bullock as much as anyone, but it's not a real horse that suits him early. I think the horse needs to be jammed out early and sort of put into the race, and he's born known to sort of box seat him. So I thought that the race was up for grabs. Clemenceau could sit sort of 4th, 5th. Fashion Legend in a similar spot on the inside, and both of them should be full of running. And the horse that you don't want to get under your guard and is not well set up is Fox Fighter again. If it gets the dry track that it needs, $12, very easy to make sure it doesn't go around a loser. I couldn't back it with confidence, but I don't want it to be beating me, because if it gets with these horses all drawn wide, if it sort of ends up 3 back, 3 out with cover,
bang.
It's the one that could go bang, and I could see it beating out home. Think about it if they had similar runs, to be honest, just because he's got a really serious turn of foot, Fox Fighter. So, yeah, just betting around the favourites is the main reason for betting into this race.
Classic JW play here, and I think he's absolutely nailed it. Love Fashion Legend as a horse. Big upward spiral last time and knocked over a pretty smart horse in Queensland called Yellow Brick, who also resumes, and you can tie that form in around Alpine Edge. That Yellow Brick made it look pretty average, and it's come out and won the big slot race up at Rocky, poked along the inside fence, and I tell you what, it was pretty average, the start before that Alpine Edge, but I think the Edmonds Yard can spike a horse as good as anyone. So I think Walt is all over it there. Let's have a quick look at the market only for the Gosford Cup. I just do this to annoy J Dubs. Dye Mills favourite here, $4.80. Navajo Peak, $5. Lord Ardmore, $6. Quality Time, $7.50. Desert Icon, $9. Iowa, $9. Lions Raw, $11. Boise d'Argent, $12. And then you got Mount Popper, $26. And Beatheress. Anything
I thought Dial's win was just incredible the other day. Just
huge.
Coming. Another horse that I think I've always had as a 1-1 pull out and sprint for 400 metres. And he showed that he's sort of more than that last start. Gate 1 here, any luck at all. Bit weird, Schiller with 60.5 from this stable. So maybe it's a little bit of an afterthought. I know it was up in Brisbane as well. I think it must have drawn poorly up there. Always scary. You've got the 37 Waller runners. I think Quality Time's probably the most scary, but it's drawn pretty poorly. So I'd be happy to go with I think $5 or whatever it is roughly for Dimels. Acceptable. Yeah, I think it'll run really well.
I was thinking along the same lines. I was rapt to see it in at Gosford. All right, if you want more of Johnny's stuff, make sure you check out racingwatch.com.au. Jump in the Discord channel if you're a lunatic, but just get the Telegram channel if you want less noise. All right, we're going to have a quick look at Donny's best for this week. It's Sunshine Coast, Hollindale Stakes, up there with the track runners on at the Goldie.
G'day, boys. Hope you've had a good carnival at Warrnambool. Looks an awesome betting event down there. Can't wait to get there one day. Kilcoy was on today as well, so 2 great meetings on a Thursday. You can't ask for much more than that. Going to the best bets this weekend. Sunny Coast looks a really open program. I'm shopping wide for value, which I don't like doing too much. I'd rather find more, but there's none that sticks out. So the best bet comes up in race 3 at Sunny Coast on Saturday. It's called Miss Muller. It's 5th emergency, unlikely to get a run, but if it does, it's $26 each way. Have the lot on it. It 1 and 2 in a row in New Zealand, then raced in a Group 2, missed the start, flew home. It's since changed stables to Gate, Waterhouse, Tim Clark on. 2 trials have been excellent. Wide draw suits, hopefully can roll forward. You'll be in the finish.
think it's a massive price. Miss Moore, race 3, if it gets a run. And race 6 in the Gold Coast Guineas, Lubrication, it's $18. They chased a couple of good ones in Swiss Exile and Lady Laguna last start. It goes from Ashley Morgan, the jockey, to Nashville Willow. It's a country battler, one of the premier jockeys in Australia. Barrier 3 should sit close up. It's got a powerful finish. $18 each way. Looks a nice gamble to me. So my 2 best this week, definitely outside the market at Sunny Coast. Race 3, Miss Smaller each way at 26s. And race 6, Lubrication each way at $18. Good luck.
Donny might have found Gay's Queensland Oaks horse. Will it be ready on Saturday?
Which one?
Miss Muller.
No comment.
Cards close to chest there.
The initial price they put up was just absolutely
60s.
insane. This is a very, 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 very good horse.
Oh, hopefully he gets a start.
Yes.
Renaissance Woman, Madame Odette, both look suited, and Street Gossip was a good winner last start, and she's poor old Wolverine's just getting dizzy going around in circles there. And the other interesting one, I see he's taking on Yellow Brick, and he's looking for value there. Just a tricky one with a couple of these horses at the moment, looking to bump their ratings points up, and then a couple of them are Stradbroke round. You just don't know where their grand finals are at Queensland. So if you like a couple of these horses up on the Sunshine Coast on the weekend, horses like Yellow Brick, just keep a really good eye. Look on the market. I think the betting will tell the story. Yellow Brick's against Lady Laguna, Fashion Legend. It's got the dual nomination there, and then horses like Spacewalk, Bunker Hut, Swiss Exile, and End Assembly and Russian Conquest, and Lubrication obviously is there also. We'll keep kicking along and have a quick look at the TopSport Steamers. And this could be Donny's bet, the first one. Bit of grim results, I guess, if you're following these and betting off them blindly. We're trying to steer in the right direction here with the steam. But Sunshine Coast Race 3, number 21, Miss Muller, $226. That's Donny's bet. It has to be. That's,
absolutely.
Hey?
Absolutely.
That can't be anyone else's bet. He's tipped on the show. They've bet him to win 5,000. He's just given himself up completely there. So he's missed the 60s.
He'll be sweating on the scratchings for 3 days. Yeah.
Now it's into $18.
Donny be sort of bloke. He'd be like 60s. I'm going to have 200. I'll have 400 on instead. Like he'd just back it doing the same anyway.
I love that. Morphettville Race 4. Number 3 is General Bow, $4.40. Bit of a problem here because Taunting is going to come out, so the $2.90 favourite here is going to get scratched. It was at the Bull. Looking at this race and the horse at Taunting here, I'm shocked that Michael Hickmont didn't leave him at home for the Mackay Stakes. I didn't know prior, but I thought he was going to be a risk in the Wangoom. But General Bow's not really one of mine. Is he one of yours, Nico?
No, not one of mine. Beat my boyfriend one day, Animo, when we were on. So, no, definitely not one of mine.
That horse beat Animo.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That is a race, as Walt says. Nothing can win that race. I'm going to have a look at that race because there'll be something out of the market there. That's crazy. Yeah, I couldn't back General Bow's stolen money at that price. Sunshine Coast Race 2, Al Abia. 2,500 at 330. That one might go close. I haven't had a good look at that one, but
James McDonald, Chris Waller.
Is that Wallace? That's that staying thing. The Preble,
yes.
The Preble
got beat by
the
Caliper the other day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bit of a number.
It's got the Caliper form, which you can tie into Serpentine.
Feels like some J-Mac tax applied to that price.
It's an interesting win. It was big odds, I think. It's first, wrong horse I'm thinking about there, but interesting bet there now into 290 at TopSport. And Alverdun's the next one. Sandown Race 8, number 10. Alverdun 700 at 650. So we've already spoken about that race. I think nothing more to add there, Nico?
No, nothing to add.
Beautiful. All right, we've got through the show. It's an epic. It always becomes an epic when we've got some hot topics at the start of the show. But make sure, importantly, you check out the stream. So buy in. So it'll be a combination of everyone's intelligence next Saturday. We'll open up the stream bank. So shares between 50 and 1,000. There'll be no limits apart from that. So we'll hopefully build a big bank and we'll take TopSport to the cleaners. And the best thing is, I tell you what, I think it's been better because the last couple of days, I think maybe be break even or have a nose in front over the last couple of days. It's been tough going at the Bull, and if Az has got a moral in the Derby, I think we've pulled the right rein here and done the stream on the right day.
It's not a cult. I'll give you it can't be a colt. He's not happy with the colts, the big fella. He's not happy with the colts and geldings. It must be a filly.
Wow. Found the moral. Anyway, DK, thanks. And Nico, thanks for your work. And
Thanks, boys.
We'll see you next week. Well done, Dunwoody. DK gets the prize, 100 to 1. Can't believe it.